You've probably been throwing away the most valuable part of the mushroom. Every time you buy mushrooms from the supermarket, you cut off the hard base, toss it into the trash, and never think about it again. But that waste isn't dead. It's alive. Inside that small leftover stem is an entire underground network waiting to wake up again. The white fuzzy threads hidden inside it are called mycelium, the real body of the mushroom. And with nothing more than cardboard, hot water, and kitchen scraps, you can turn that trash into endless mushrooms at home. No expensive equipment, no garden, no special skills. Just biology most people never notice, because mushrooms aren't grown the way people think. They're regenerated. In this video, you're going to learn how to regrow supermarket mushrooms almost endlessly using things most people throw away, not with expensive grow kits or complicated setups. With cardboard, you'll understand why mushroom stems still contain living mycelium, why cardboard becomes the perfect food source, and how a simple temperature trick forces mushrooms to grow again. You'll also learn how to prevent contamination, why coffee grounds accelerate growth, and how to harvest multiple cycles from a single container. Because mushroom growing isn't really farming. It's creating the right environment for biology to activate itself. And once you understand that, you stop seeing mushroom scraps as garbage and start seeing them as living material waiting to grow again. Why mushroom stems can regrow. Most people think the mushroom itself is the entire organism. It's not. The part you eat, the cap and stem, is only the fruiting body. It's like the apple on an apple tree. The real organism is the mycelium, a massive underground network of microscopic white threads that normally spreads through wood, soil, and dead organic matter. That network makes up almost the entire life of the mushroom. And when you cut off the base of a mushroom stem, some of that living mycelium is still there. It's not dead, it's dormant. Once moisture and food return, the mycelium wakes back up and starts expanding again. That's why mushrooms can regrow from scraps so effectively. You're not planting seeds, you're reactivating an existing living network. And in nature, that network normally feeds on dead wood. So indoors, we simply replace wood with something surprisingly similar. Cardboard. Why cardboard works. Cardboard looks useless to us, but to mushrooms, it's food. Because cardboard is made from wood pulp and packed with cellulose, the exact material many mushrooms naturally break down in forests. That's why plain brown cardboard works so well as a growing medium. It mimics decaying wood. But there's an important detail most beginners miss. Never use glossy or heavily printed cardboard. Colored inks, coatings, and adhesives can weaken or contaminate the mycelium. Simple plain brown cardboard is safest because it contains fewer chemicals. And before using it, the cardboard needs preparation. Dry cardboard contains bacteria and competing molds invisible to the eye, so pouring boiling water over it isn't optional. It's protection. The heat softens the fibers, hydrates the material, and kills many unwanted organisms at the same time. Once cooled and squeezed until damp, not soaking wet, the cardboard becomes the perfect environment for mushroom growth. Soft, moist, breathable. Exactly what mycelium wants. The secret ingredient, coffee grounds. This is where kitchen waste becomes mushroom fuel. Used coffee grounds contain nitrogen and trace nutrients mushrooms love. Adding a small amount to the cardboard dramatically speeds up mycelium growth because it gives the fungus access to richer nutrition. But balance matters. Too much coffee creates excess moisture and increases contamination risk. A light sprinkle is enough. Think of cardboard as the structure and coffee grounds as the energy source. Once mixed together, the material becomes a nutrient-rich growing bed built entirely from things most people throw away every morning. And suddenly, waste starts functioning like soil. That's the hidden pattern behind mushroom cultivation. One organism's trash becomes another organism's ecosystem. If you've ever thrown away mushroom stems without realizing they could grow again, subscribe. Because nature wastes almost nothing, and most people never notice it. Building the mushroom box. Now the system comes together. Take a clean plastic container and begin layering the material almost like lasagna. Cardboard. Mushroom stem pieces. More cardboard. The mushroom scraps should sit in direct contact with the moist cardboard so the mycelium can spread outward into its new food source. Then, loosely close the container. Not airtight. Mushrooms breathe just like we do. Completely sealing the container traps stale air and encourages contamination. And here's another common mistake. Light. Most people assume mushrooms grow like plants and place them near windows. That's wrong. At this stage, mycelium prefers darkness. A closet, cabinet, or dark shelf works much better than direct sunlight. Then comes the hardest part, waiting. For 1 to 2 weeks, almost nothing seems to happen. But underneath the surface, the mycelium is spreading aggressively through the cardboard, slowly turning the inside of the box white. That white growth is the real mushroom organism taking over its environment. And once the entire container becomes white, the next phase begins. The temperature shock trick. Here's the part most people never discover. Mycelium doesn't produce mushrooms just because it has food. It produces mushrooms because it senses danger. In nature, many mushrooms begin fruiting when temperatures suddenly drop in autumn. The organism interprets cold weather as a signal that survival season is ending, so it rushes to reproduce. That's why temperature shock works. Once the container is fully colonized with white mycelium, place it in the refrigerator overnight, roughly 12 to 24 hours. The sudden cold activates the fruiting response. The next day, move the container into a bright room with indirect light, open the lid slightly, and mist the surface with water. Now 3 important signals combine: fresh air, moisture, and temperature change. Within days, tiny baby mushrooms begin forming across the surface, and this is where the magic finally becomes visible. Contamination and common mistakes. One of the biggest beginner mistakes is panicking at the first sign of mold. Not all white growth is bad. Healthy mycelium looks soft, white, and fluffy. But green powdery patches are usually contamination, often a mold called trichoderma that competes with mushrooms for nutrients. Still, contamination doesn't always mean failure. If caught early, simply scoop out the infected section along with a small surrounding area. Removing the problem quickly often saves the rest of the container. The real danger usually comes from excess moisture and poor airflow. Mushrooms need humidity, not stagnant wetness. That balance is what keeps the system healthy. Because mushroom growing isn't about controlling nature completely. It's about managing the environment well enough for nature to work. The endless loop. Most people think the process ends after the first harvest. It doesn't. Even after mushrooms are harvested, the mycelium inside the block is still alive. It's simply exhausted, and with enough water and nutrients, it can fruit again. So instead of throwing the block away, soak it in water for several hours to rehydrate it, add a small amount of fresh coffee grounds if needed, then repeat the cold shock process. Often, new mushrooms appear again within days. Second harvest, third harvest, sometimes even more. And even when the block finally stops producing mushrooms, it still isn't waste. Break it apart and mix it into garden soil or houseplant pots. The remaining mycelium improves soil structure and helps organic matter decompose naturally. So, the cycle never truly ends. Cardboard becomes mushrooms. Mushrooms become compost. Compost feeds plants. Nothing gets wasted. At this point, mushrooms stop feeling like something you simply buy at the store. You start seeing them differently, not as products, but as living systems capable of regenerating themselves when conditions are right. And that's the bigger lesson hidden behind this entire process. Nature constantly reuses what humans throw away. The mushroom stem, the cardboard box, the coffee grounds, things that look useless suddenly become part of a completely functioning ecosystem. And once you understand that, growing food feels less like manufacturing and more like cooperating with biology. So next time you cook mushrooms, don't throw the stems away, because hidden inside that tiny scrap is an entire organism waiting for another chance to grow. What would you try growing first if you could regrow food from kitchen waste?